Hello everybody and welcome back to Road to Cities. I'm Jordan Bamford of Poke Australia, and today on Road to Cities we're going to be taking a look at Seismitoad Manectric Bats, which is a really powerful deck which can sometimes be a hit or a miss deck. Sometimes this deck's just going to destroy and erase top cut, other times it flops and just doesn't get anywhere near cut. So it's kind of it's a really difficult deck to play this. You really need to be precise when you're working out the damage, but overall it's a pretty consistent deck. It's a very strong deck, but as I said, it has had some instances where it just hasn't worked out quite well. So basically this deck is all around locking your opponent for a couple of turns, spreading some damage, and then going in with Manectric EX and just ruining your opponent's day. So we're going to do this by using Seismitoad EX. We're going to play 4 of them in here with the attack Quaking Punch to do 30 damage and stop our opponent from playing items. So basically you just want a Quaking Punch for the first couple of turns, and that's why we play 4, just so we can start with this. Quaking Punch for the first few turns, lock your opponent down before setting up a Manectric. It's got the 170 HP, 1 retreat cost, overrun does 20 damage and 20 to one of your opponent's benched, which can be quite powerful first turn if you attack. If you're going second and you start with Manectric, it's a pretty decent attack to spread damage, especially against Night March, because then you can set up for next turn to hit with Golbats some KOs on Night Marches. But it's also got Assault Laser, which is really why this card's so strong. So once you've spread the damage of Seismitoad and got a bit of damage on your opponent's Pokemon, you can use Assault Laser, which does, for 1 lightning and 1 color, 60 damage, and if your opponent's got a tool card attached to them, to their active, 60 more damage. Now usually most decks play tool cards, but we do have a way around it if they don't. If they're playing EX Pokemon, we can chuck a Head Ringer on them, so not only will their attacks cost 1 more, but they're going to have a tool card to power up our Assault Laser. So we've got 2 Manectrics, 4 Toads, and then we run a 4-4-3 Crobat line. These have the ability Sneaky Bite to put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent when you evolve the Golbat, and 3 when you evolve into Crobat. So this is really just to spread damage. Yeah, get a lot of damage on the board, so then you can come in later in the game and just ruin everything with Manectric. We then also play 2 Shaman EX, just because setup's a really good ability, helps us draw through and adds consistency to our deck. Now because this is kind of a lock variant of the deck, we're going to be playing some hammers. So we've got 3 crushing hammers and 1 enhanced hammer. I would love to play the 4th crushing, but I just can't really find room for it at the moment. I might try and figure something out to play the 4th, because I would love having 4 in here, but 3 does the job just to lock your opponent down. This isn't a complete lock deck. This is just kind of to stall out the game for a bit so you can set up everything, because it does take a while to get these bats out. We then also play 1 red card, just first turn, dropping your opponent down to 4, can be pretty strong. I think this card is going to be a lot better when Delinquent comes out, and I'll probably try and play this deck with Delinquent to put your opponent into 1 card in their opening hand, but we'll see how that goes. We then have 4 Super Scoop Ups just to pick up our bat line, and maybe like a Shaman to reuse Shaman. 4 Ultra Ball just for consistency, allows us to get out the cards that we need when we need them. 4 level VS Seeker. I was going to just mention Level Ball then. We got 4 VS Seekers. You could probably put a Level Ball in here. The only applicable target so is Zubat and Golbat, but it's not a bad card to have. I just prefer having Ultra Ball. So we got 4 VS Seeker, 2 AZ, just to pick up the Crobat line when we really need it, or to pick up and reuse a Shaman. I like having 2 in here because I'm not very good at flipping heads on a Super Scoop Up, and 2 just makes the deck a bit stronger. 1 Judge, just for disruption and draw. 2 Professor Birch's Observations, because it's the 2nd best draw support that we have at the moment. Having the option to draw 7 is great, but of course we've got Professor Sycamore, which guarantees a 7, so we've got 4 Sycamore in here. We then have 2 Rough Seas, just as a counter stadium and to heal up our Pokemon. It's not too important to have these, but like it's nice to have them. And 3 Muscle Band, just to add damage to our attacks. It allows Assault Laser to hit for 140, which if you have a Crobat, be 170. If you've got the whole Crobat line, which is enough to knock out a lot of strong EX Pokemon. Of course, you've got the Toad to stall for a couple of turns to get some damage on there. You can check a Muscle Band on one of those and make him do 50 each turn. We then have 4 Double Colorless Energies and 4 Lightning Energies. You only really need 2 to attack with Manectric, and honestly you are probably never going to set up 2 of these. You probably put in a 5th energy or maybe even a super rod in here somewhere, but I like this list at the moment how it is. We're going to test this in a couple of games and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so here we go with Manectric Toad Bats. We see Fire and Psychic, so I'm not really too sure what my opponent's playing. I'm thinking of anything that plays both Psychic and Fire types, and I can't think of anything unless the Psychic's just like a Hooper or just a Tech, but I'm not too sure. Guess we'll find out. Okay, so we're going to start with the... we're going to start with the Seismitoad. So my opponent hasn't get a benched. Alright, so we'll start with Seismitoad down. And we can put a Zubat. Alright, so we're going to see some fire energies. Okay, so this doesn't really help tell what the deck is. Maybe Entei or Typhlosion. They're the 2 big fire decks. Typhlosion's not very good, but it's still a deck that is played, I guess, so we could see that. I think I've ran against it a couple of times. So we see the other Entei, so not the Entei that you typically see. We top deck Manectric, we can play that. No real use for those super scoop ups, so I'm just going to go for Professor Birch's Observations. We get the Tails, which is a shame, but we do have the Sycamore for next turn. We can put that. I might hold off playing the energy just because of I don't really know what my opponent's playing. They could have Enhanced Hammer, so we're just going to hold it in our hand for the next turn because we can hit a Quaking Punch next turn. They're not going to be able to knock me out. So yeah, there's the Hooper. So I guess we're going to find out really what my opponent is playing with this. Discard the top 4. Okay, so Charizard, and Shaman. So we see both variants of Charizard and Shaman EX. So this will just be some weird Charizard fire deck. So we're going to see Burning Roar. And they didn't get any fire energy. Okay. So now we'll put this down here. Top decked another Sycamore, which is a bit of a shame, but that's nothing too important. I really wanted to get the goal back, because I could have got a knockout this turn. We can put a Head Ringer on. I'm more scared of this Charizard, so I'm going to play it on that one. No point going for a scoop up at this point, so we'll just Quaking Punch for 50. 100 with the Muscle Band and the weakness, sorry. Okay. So we've got double colors to set up another Toad next turn, just in case someone gets knocked out. We got VO Seeker. We got Enhanced Hammer, so we get a couple of options next turn. We're going to see another Entei come down. Fire going on to Stoke Charizard. And then we're going to see another... Okay, so this is going to be some type of... Tier Pokemon. So, I'm judging by Protection Cube there's going to be some Mega Charizard deck using the Dragonmon, which is okay. Now I'm torn whether I want to grab back that Birch or use a Sycamore. I think I kind of want to go for the Birch. So let's grab back the Birch. Yeah, we'll just play that. Okay. So I'm hoping we can get a goal out of this, then we can be able to knock out this Entei. We are drawing 7. Oh, geez, we're not seeing anything good. We're just going to go for a Crushing Hammer. Heads, we can get rid of one of these fire energies over here. And we may as well just go for a Quaking Punch for the KO and take our first prize card. Shame we didn't get the Golbat set up. We could have been able to knock that out and force my opponent to send something else into the active position. We're going to get a Crobat off the prizes. Alright, so next turn we've got the VN Seeker, so we can definitely get a supporter that is an AZ. I think my opponent's just going to continue to Burning Roar. So, we've got 2 in the discard. We're going to see Teammates being played. So probably for Spirit Link and Mega Charizard if they play it. I'm not positive if they do, but I'm assuming they do, judging by Protection Cube anyway. I don't think Fire Blast doesn't damage them, so yeah. I'm assuming it's Mega Charizard, the Dragon version. I think it's X. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not positive on that, but we'll find out. I think that's the one that does damage to itself, or is it the fire one? I'm not positive because they're not very popular cards. So we'll find out in a minute anyway if my opponent plays them. Also, I said earlier that they will get Charizard Spirit Link, but they don't play Charizard Spirit Link because it's not a thing. So we're going to see the Charizard come down, and it is the, I think it's Y. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's the fire version, not the Dragon one like I was saying like an idiot. So we get the Lightning, we can play that. We got Ultra Ball, we can get rid of AZ and Rough Seas. We can take a Golbat so we can guarantee ourselves a knockout on this turn. Right, so, I grabbed Zubat. I'm a fool. I didn't mean to do that. That's okay. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was grabbing then. That was a bit of a misplay. It's alright, we can grab the Zubat. We'll grab back to Birch's Observations. Just because I don't want to really drop 2 Super Scoops. Alright, we flip heads. Alright, so we get red card. We do get the Ultra Ball, so I can play that now. I'll drop the Seismitoad and the double colors. Alright, this time I'll make sure I get the Golbat. And we can put the 20 onto the Entei. I'm going to red card just to put my opponent down a few cards. I think I'll put the Muscle Band on this Manectric. And then we can do a Quaking Punch for the knockout. And take another prize card. I really want to get a head ringer on this thing. We see a Judge. Alright, so they still need 3 energies to attack, which is possible. Double colorless and a Blacksmith, or Blacksmith and a Fire. They've got the 2 fire energies in there, 2 Blacksmiths. We're going to see a Parallel City, dropping me down to 3 Pokemon. I'm going to get rid of... oh, my opponent concedes. Alright, so we'll give this one another try. Alright, so I'll see you in the next game, and hopefully we'll have a bit of a better matchup for that. Alright, so here we go for game 2. Hopefully this one isn't a bad matchup. My opponent seems to be playing a lot of random things, but hopefully it's a fun, semi-competitive deck to go against. It's really hard to get competitive games on PTCGO. A lot of people just seem to be playing this random rogue decks, but not to criticize anyone's deck building abilities or anything, because I know mine aren't at a great level, but we usually don't see many meta decks in PTCGO, which is a shame. We used to, but not really anymore. So we'll see what my opponent's playing. Hopefully it's just not trash, and we can get a good matchup out of it. So they're choosing who's going first. I'm assuming I'm probably going second. I usually mention it's best to go with. With most decks it's best to go first, and this deck is no exception. Being able to get the Golbat out as quickly as possible isn't too bad. On this hand, this hand, it's not horrible. Okay, we're going to start with Toad. This means I'm going to be down a Golbat and a Crobat for the entire game. So I'm hoping I don't top deck. Okay, so we're going to see Lucario. So this may be Lucario Bats or some type of other fighting variant. We're going to see a Level Ball. If they play a Zubat, we're going to find out. I can't remember the energy types that was seen, I think. We're going to see Bronzor. Okay, this is interesting. So this could be... I'm thinking over my head of decks that play these 2 cards. This could just be like a Mega Mewtwo build with fighting types. I'm not too sure. I'm not really sure what my opponent is playing. We're going to see a Focus Sash come down onto the Lucario. That's not a big deal. And Shaman for 2. So they've only played the 1 Level Ball. So there's no Metal Energies to use Metal Links. Alright. Gonna see an Ultra Ball here. Getting rid of Switch Navier Seeker. Maybe for another Shaman, or... I don't know, I think they might go for another Shaman if they have it, because they haven't attached an energy or done anything. Machamp, okay. So this is either Machamp Aridos or just a weird fighting deck. And we're going to see a Focus Sash on Machamp as well. That's fine, I can't one-shot these things anyways, that's why we have bats. And we're going to get Judged first turn, which is always fun. Hopefully we'll get a better hand than what we just did. So we're going to see, okay, it's potential. I can get the Shaman. I'm not going to be losing as much stuff as I would have been. Alright, so we're going to get double colors down on Toad, and then we'll just Ultra Ball, depending on what we top deck, obviously. Strong Energy going down, is it strong? Yep, Strong Energy going down. Battle Compressor. Probably for Metal Energies. So we see, I saw a Fighting and Metal, so Fighting, Metal and Sycamore, I think. I don't think that was there earlier. Alright, so we're gonna get the Judge as well, which is nice. So we can Ultra Ball. Yeah, we'll get rid of these two. I was considering whether I wanted to get rid of Judge, but judging by my opponent getting rid of Sycamore, I'm assuming they've got VS Seeker in hand. So I do kind of want to play the Judge's turn just to throw them off a bit, but we'll see how we go. Alright, so we're gonna get to draw a couple of extra cards here. There's no real use for this, so we're just gonna chuck it on the Shaman. I'm going to Ultra Ball away Sycamore and an AZ. We'll take a Zubat. I may as well go for a scoop up and try and pick up the Shaman. Couldn't hurt to play more than one Shaman per turn, especially when we're not having to take a bench space doing it. We do. Then I'll get the Shaman back, play it, draw another 5 cards. Yep. Alright, I was really hoping for another Zubat, but we do get the Crushing Hammer. Heads. I can go for another one here, but I think I might just play it safe and go with the Judge. I don't want to use all my scoop ups on the one Shaman. Okay, so we got Ultra Ball for next turn, we got the VS Seeker, we got another Crushing Hammer. So this hand's pretty decent for next turn, and we're just going to go for a Quaking Punch this turn for 30. We missed the Muscle Band, but we'll see how we go. Alright. So my opponent's not going to be hitting for much damage this turn because I did get rid of that Strong Energy, which is really useful. We're going to see another Strong come down. Going to see an AZ, probably on Shaman. Yep, getting rid of my Head Ringer that I played earlier, which isn't a big deal. I just played it to lower it. There was nothing I could attach it to. Just wanted to get rid of the card. Alright, so we're going to kind of see a Bronzong with Metal Links come down. They've got Metal Energy in there, don't they? Yep, okay. So I don't know why the Bronzong is the companion in here. Maybe there's another EX card or another fighting type Pokemon that can benefit from it. I'm trying to think of things, but there's nothing coming to mind. The only one that would... I don't even know. I can't think of anything. I was going to say Mega Mewtwo Y, but you don't really need to have fighting Pokemon for that. I guess just to cover... No, it's not even to cover weakness, because fighting Pokemon are weak to it as well. So I'm not really sure why that is, but... Nevertheless, alright, we top deck Ralph is really nice. We get a Crushing Hammer. We flip heads, get rid of that. Now I've got options here. I can Ultra Ball and grab a Shaman, but I'm just a little concerned that I don't have a Shaman in deck. I didn't check it earlier when I had the chance. So I can either VS Seeker for a Sycamore and play it safe, AZ a Shaman, go that route, or Ultra Ball and hope for another Shaman. And honestly, I'm just going to Ultra Ball for this Shaman and hope that I've got one in deck. And it's not prized, and it's not prized, thank God for that. So we're going to be able to set up for 6 this turn, which is really nice. Hopefully we can get a Golbat and another Zubat down, and a Manectric. So there's our Golbat. There's a Muscle Band. Put 2 damage counters on this. There's a Muscle Band. We can go for a Super Scoop Up to try and reuse a Shaman. We flip Tails. I think this is the first time I flip Tails. I might... I actually want to keep Enhanced Hammer in deck just because my opponent's played 2 Strong Energies so far. So if I can get rid of as many of those as I can, that's pretty nice. Okay, I don't really have a Pokemon to put this onto. I may just hold it in my hand. Actually, you know what? Let's put it down here because next turn When I evolve, yeah, okay, we'll go for a Quaking Punch. Alright, so there is a reason behind what I just did, and the reasoning is when I evolve this like from 3 in this has got a weakness, and I'm able to knock it out with Skill Dive next turn. If I can retreat my Toad, and if I choose to retreat my Toad. It all depends on what happens during my opponent's next turn. Got the VS Seeker, and my opponent concedes. Okay, I'm honestly not going to play another game. These games have gone for a bit too long for me to play a third game. So I'm sorry that we didn't get to really play out a full game, and we didn't really show off what this deck is. I might try and do another video on this, but this one's just a bit too long for me to play a third game, which could have potential to go for like 20 minutes, just making this video 40 minutes long. So I'm just going to wrap it up there. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and go ahead and check us out on Facebook. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next episode.